Good evening, everyone. I'm Kamenenchev. Welcome to another edition of Red Wolves Live. Usually when you don't score the first half, you lose. But A-State has now won back-to-back games despite scoring 0 points in back-to-back first halves. The birthday boy, Blake Wynn, celebrated with the win. Blake, how was the homecoming environment tonight?
You just had to tell everybody, didn't you, Common? I tell you what, though, you know what? It was a pretty good birthday for me. I had to come out here and cover all of the action out here. But I'll tell you what, it was a great environment, great homecoming environment. Another great crowd out here, very similar to the crowd we saw in the last home game against Utah State. And another very, very good game. I think you said it well, though. Typically, you don't score in the first half, you don't win. The good news is the defense for Arkansas State played well enough that the other team didn't score as well. So I think overall a fantastic night for Arkansas State. Again, there's some points about the game that you could complain about, but overall a great second half for Freddie Knighton, a great first half for the defense. Just a good win overall for Arkansas State and that first conference win for the Red Wolves.
Thanks, Blake. Let's head straight to those highlights here in that win. After missing the past two games, Michael Gordon's back in the backfield, and the defense would be back to doing what they do best, dominate. First quarter, Chris Stone comes from behind to make the sack. Later, how about some more defense, and you guessed it, another sack. This time it's Xavier Woodson with the big hit, and there's the A-State sack. But the offense struggled early yet again tonight. Here, Freddie Knighton throws deep, and it's going to be tipped and intercepted by ULM's Mitch Lane. After no interceptions the first three games, Freddie's got one in back-to-back games. Michael Gordon showed some explosiveness tonight in his return. Here's a 13-yard run as he's forced out of bounds. Later in the drive, Luke Ferguson attempts a 23-yard field goal, but he misses, and his struggles would continue. We're still scoreless after the first quarter, and Freddie's fumbles would continue too. In the second quarter, Knighton fumbles again. ULM would recover in A-State territory. But get this, of course the ASU defense gets it back as Frankie Jackson forces the fumble and Q Lee comes up with it. Michael Gordon isn't the only player back from injury. Here, Kenny Raines makes a nice 15-yard catch. In fact, he catches it twice right there. But again, it wouldn't lead to points. Arkansas State's defense kept the team in the game as here, Caleb Caston comes from behind for yet another sack. The offense gets it back and finally gets going as Freddie finds J.D. McKissick, and J.D. makes some nice moves. Look at him go there, but he's eventually tripped down. The game would be scoreless at the half. Freddie would bounce back in the second half, though, and he'd get some help from Michael Gordon. As we're going to see the second half highlights in a second. There they are. Freddie Knighton's the quarterback right there. He'd bounce back, and there's Michael Gordon. He'd bounce back the second half, too. Look at this 68-yard run as he's going to be down all the way to the 3-yard line. He showed some flash and some speed there. Next play, Freddie does what he does best. Run the ball as he keeps it for a 3-yard score. And with 9:24 to go in the third quarter, we finally have a touchdown. 7-0 Red Wolves. Next offensive drive, Freddie does it through the air this time with a perfect pass and a nice sliding grab by Tyler Trozen, makes it 14-0 A-State. Early in the fourth, Freddie throws his second interception of the game. That would set up a ULM score. ASU's lead is down to just 14-7. But again, Freddie bounces back with his legs as he shows off his speed and heads to the house for a 29-yard touchdown. 21-7 Red Wolves. Later, ULM tries a fake punt, but look at this. No, Tress Houston says, no, you're not. He makes the big hit there, and you've got a problem there as Houston keeps him from getting the first down. Then more Freddie on the ground. This time he just about walks in from 12 yards out. That's his third rush TD of the half. A-State wins 28-14. All the points in this game came in the second half as Coach Anderson gets a kiss from his wife and starts his Sun Belt schedule with a win. Let's head to the stats. Despite two first-half turnovers, Freddie Knighton bounced back with 4 second-half touchdowns. Freddie finished with 284 passing yards and 71 rushing yards. Michael Gordon was great on the ground, too, with 168 rushing yards on just 15 carries in his return to the backfield. Arkansas State finishes with 572 total yards. J.D. McKissick had 120 receiving yards and is now the fourth A-State player to go over 2,000 career receiving yards. The offense was great the second half, but credit the defense for keeping them in the game. Xavier Woodson led that unit with 10 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and the sack. There you have it. The Red Wolves start Sun Belt play with the win. You've seen the highlights, but stay with us as you'll hear from Coach Anderson on tonight's win. That's next on Red Wolves Live. Welcome back to Red Wolves Live. Again, A-State starts its Sunbelt season with a 28-14 homecoming win over ULM. The win also marked Coach Anderson's first Sunbelt game. Here's Coach on the Red Wolves' resilience and much more.
Yeah, just proud of the way the guys continue to fight. You know, we had to overcome a lot of issues, penalties and mistakes. Defense is playing phenomenal. Kept us in it the whole first half till we could get on, kind of get on track offensively and get. I thought we were able to get their defense fatigued a little bit in the second half, especially late in the third quarter and into the fourth quarter, and definitely made a big difference. And you can see things starting to open up and crease. And, our guys still had plenty of juice. It's one of the things, and I guess maybe that's the way it's going to go all year. We're just going to have to try to wear them down until we get to a point where we start moving bodies. But it was good to have Mike back. Big game by him. And you can see where we've been missing his spark and his speed and create a couple big plays. But, really, we got to be better on third down offensively. We got to eliminate the penalties. They're killing us in a lot of areas. And, we can't turn the ball over. So we dodged a bullet and what I think is a good football team, especially defensively, very good defensively. But it's something we got to fix. So that I'll answer whatever questions you got.
What did you tell the guys at halftime?
I'd really talked to them separately, talked to the offense first, and spent time just telling them that learning a new offense and the way we do things, the tempo, and as many of them that haven't played, that this stuff's hard. There's nothing easy about it. We're asking a lot of them, and it's taken longer than we want. Every offensive football team has a different learning curve.
You've seen the highlights and reactions. Coming up after the break. We'll have our final thoughts on tonight's win. Welcome back to Red Wolves Live. Arkansas State starts Sunbelt play with a 28-14 win over ULM. The defense was amazing the first half, holding ULM to 0 points. And the offense took over the second half with 28 points, as there was a total team effort tonight. We'll head to Blake, who's still at Centennial Bank Stadium after tonight's exciting win.
Yeah, man, it was great. And you say team win, I think that's exactly what it is. I think the defense did their job, in the first half. I think in the second half, when there were a couple of touchdowns, I think the offense did their job, making sure that when ULM did get on the board, they already had a lead. I think you go directly talk about players of the game, you go directly to Michael Gordon, who is still banged up, by the way. He's not 100% healthy. Sure, he's back. They held him out until conference play. He's still banged up. He still doesn't feel well. And he had a ton of yards on the ground, over 100 yards rushing today. Got a lot of carries, which was kind of surprising, but had a heck of a game, kept him in it, helped him move the football. You had Freddie Knighton, who really did his job in overcoming some fumbles. I mean, he's got to get that under control. I know they don't want him to wear a glove, but man, the dude's got to put a glove on. I mean, it's just the bottom line. He can't keep fumbling the football, but you know what? Resilience. He had that second half resilience. He came back in. He was eventually the difference in the game. So overall, a fantastic night for the Red Wolves. Yeah, there's things they need to work on, but again, they get the W, they get a conference win.
Yeah, Blake, you talk a lot about the offense there, the resilience Freddie showed. Michael Gordon was great. I'm going to talk about the defense, though. Let's not forget here, it was 0-0 at halftime. Those 28 second half points, they wouldn't have happened without the defense. Xavier Woodson led the defense with 10 tackles. And, of course, in the first half, we see Freddie throws an interception. The defense gets it back with a forced fumble. Then, of course, we see a fumble from Freddie, and Q Lee gets it back. So I'm going to talk a lot about the defense. I think the offense played amazing the second half. We had McKissick played great, Gordon played great, Knighton bounced back, but none of that would have been possible without the defense.
Oh, you're right. You're exactly right. And the thing is if the defense gives up 2 or 3 scores, which is not just a lot for a defense in that first half, the second half looks totally different when the offense comes out playing from behind. So, yeah, the first half is the key with the defense holding strong. And then it was good to see the offense come in and make an adjustment coming out at halftime.
All right. Well, thanks, Blake. And it was a pretty exciting win. Again, as you said, you'll hear more from the Pack tomorrow night on the Blake Anderson Show, as we'll see that here in a second. And, of course, A-State wins 28-14. It's the 5th edition of the Blake Anderson Show. It's produced right here in the KIT studios, as Coach will break down the ULM game. The Blake Anderson Show is tomorrow at 10:35, right after Region 8 News at 10. Again, the Red Wolves start Sunbelt play with the win. Arkansas State will go for its 4th straight conference title, and we'll be here with you for every game. Up next, a road trip as A-State takes on Georgia State. We'll see you then. Have a good night, everyone.